Hello, my friends. I just wanted to do this update episode because I wanted to celebrate something that you guys have all been a part of. Today, July 7th, we hit 3,000 downloads for the 17 episodes that are out now for the Life Shift podcast. And just to give you a little bit of perspective, doing a little searching on Google, I found that the average podcast earns 141 downloads in the first month. So I think we're doing pretty good. And I appreciate it. And this is honestly the most fulfilling project that I've ever worked on. And the feedback that I'm getting just helps me understand that I'm doing something good for other people, but also for myself. In 146 days, it's been 146 days since I recorded my first episode, I have recorded 1,731 minutes of edited episodes, which is about 28.85 hours. Now, that is for 32 episodes, which is the total number of episodes that I have recorded as of today. It also includes 3 little bonus episodes, and I guess this is the 4th one. So I released 17 episodes up until now, but there are 15 more ready to go, which means that I'll have lots of episodes through October, and I'll talk a little bit more about potentially offering some kind of early release for subscription type service or something to help fund the podcast. But for now, just know that there are enough episodes to get us through October of 2022, which is pretty cool. A couple of funny stories, or not really funny, but a couple stories about the recording so far. There have been numerous tech issues when recording some of these episodes, but hopefully you haven't been able to hear them. In a lot of cases, I will edit them out, thankfully, and I edit out filler words as much as possible. So any kind of or extra noises or things that happen from the guests as they are thinking of what they want to say next, I technically cut those out for you. But the episode that came out this week with Chantal, we actually had to go back 2 weeks later and re-record a portion of the conversation. And if you know me, that's not what I want to do, because I want to have these conversations as candid as possible. But from the few people that I told this little secret to, nobody has figured out where the re-recorded part of the conversation is, which is kind of fun. And I enjoy that. Let's see, what else? My friend Alex, who I believe was episode 9, I think that my connection to the platform that I use to record, which is called Riverside FM, I think my connection dropped out maybe 3 or 4 times in that conversation, which made it real fun to do the editing. Meanwhile, I have recordings of Alex saying, "Hey, are you there? Are you there? Oh, it looks like you lost connection. Oh, am I the only one here?" So, sorry, Alex. And then I've also had some issues where, for some reason, when getting the audio from the guest side, I can also hear myself. So then it becomes an echo, because the platform that I use records 2 separate tracks so that I can do the editing and cut out any background noises or anything that actually happens on another side when someone else is talking. But in instances like my friend Ted's episode and my friend Anna's episode, there was an echo. So that added a little bit extra editing that needed to happen. But hopefully, again, you aren't able to notice these and you're enjoying the stories on the Life Shift podcast. It's honestly so rewarding to be able to have these conversations and for my guests to actually trust me to share some of these. Some of them are pretty deep, right? And some of them are showing a lot of vulnerability, and I am honored that people are trusting me with these stories. Some of my favorite parts of these episodes are probably just the fulfilling parts to me when someone says 100% to something that I've asked them, or that's a good question. I've even had a couple people ask, are you some sort of therapist? Which, no, I am not. I'm just generally interested in these human stories and the connections that they're creating. But those are some of my favorite pieces. For those of you that are new to the Life Shift podcast and haven't been following along all the while, this podcast was born from a class that I took at UF. Right now I'm getting a pandemic master's degree, and well, that's what I call it. And I have about 30 days left, a little bit less than that. And then I will be graduating. But I took a class called The Art of Podcasting. And my episode 19, Heidi, she was actually my instructor for that class. But in that class, we had to create a hypothetical podcast. And we had to create 2 episodes that we did not have to publish or distribute or create an actual launch. But I thought, if I'm going to do 2 episodes, then why not just make this a real thing? So by the end of that class, I think I had launched the podcast and I already had 8 episodes recorded. And here we are. I have 32 episodes recorded since then, 17 of which have been released. So super cool. This week, I'm actually ordering a new MacBook so that I can continue with the podcast and invest in this process, because it's literally probably the best thing I've ever created, and I'm super proud of it. And so, therefore, I'm getting a new machine so that I can continue creating good episodes and putting them out for everyone to listen to. I am thinking about the idea of a subscription type service like Patreon or something, but I don't necessarily have bonus content. So I'm thinking maybe it's something where episodes will be released earlier and Patreon members can get the episodes earlier or a couple at a time, since I have them ahead of time. I'm not sure. I'm thinking, a very low tier, but any kind of donation, if you will, as it relates to Patreon, would help fund the new laptop and the hosting and all those pieces. But I haven't decided on that. I do hope that moving forward, once I'm finished with school, I can create more live stream opportunities. And maybe that's a live stream of what I'm doing here, or bringing back past guests as I did on that first trial of the live stream. So I hope to do more of those. As I mentioned, I do have like 4 weeks left of my master's program. And so after today's 32nd episode recording, I'm going to take just a little bit of a break in recording, let the releases catch up to where I am, and then I'll start scheduling some more recordings so that we can finish out 2022 on the schedule. So I probably will be asking if anyone knows anyone, or if anyone themselves wants to come on and share their life shift and share their story and have a candid conversation with me about those moments. So look out for that. And then lastly, to help grow the podcast to way over 3,000 downloads, if you could rate and review the podcast on Apple Podcasts, I know that helps with more exposure. If you could share it with friends, anything you can do to help me out that's free to do, I would love that, because this is so important to me and I want to keep doing it. And if I can get more eyes on it, that's going to help me out in the long run. So thank you for 3,000 downloads so far in less than 150 days since I first started recording. And it's been even fewer than that since releasing. So I released my first 2 episodes on March 22nd, and it's now July 7th. So that's 3,000 downloads since then. Super cool, super grateful. I hope you continue liking these stories and they continue resonating with you. And until next time, thank you, and we will see you on the next week's episode of the Life Shift podcast. Thank you, my friends.